Alright guys, today we are doing an in-game breakdown of Doaenel. This guy is a Hecarim one-trick who at a certain point during the season was actually challenger, and this guy, you know, one of his goals he has said for the season 12 is going to be to try to attain rank 1 in North America. This is a guy who, you know, he's a content creator, he does Twitch, he does YouTube, he's been really growing and popping off over the course of the last year, and I really do expect him to take another big step forward in season 12. You know, will he be able to reach rank 1? I don't know for sure. With one tricks, it's always hard. It kind of depends on how the meta fits you and your champion, you know, how games go your way and if they don't or whatever. But obviously this guy, whether he's Grandmaster or Challenger or whatever, is very good at Hecarim. And this is a champion that's not necessarily super strong right now. He sits around a 50% win rate at most ranks, and his win rate kind of goes down as you get higher up in rank. So, you know, what Doaenel is able to do with him at the Grandmaster and Challenger ranks is actually pretty impressive. So in this video today, I wanted to, you know, break down a game from Doaenel, see how he's able to carry so hard, so consistently on this Hecarim pick, and if there's anything, you know, we can learn from his games and, you know, hopefully apply it to our own, because if he's able to do this with a Challenger, with a champion like Hecarim and Challenger, you know, maybe we can make this thing work at our ranks as well. Obviously, you guys can see up on the screen the beginnings of this clear. He's going to be doing just a pretty standard clear, you know, red into Krugs, into Raptors. Nothing too crazy there. The early game usually is going to be pretty slow on the Hecarim. As far as his summoner spells, he is taking Smite and he is taking Ghost. Hecarim is a champion that's all about movement speed. You want to be flying around the map. You want to be able to make these big long jumps with your E. You want to be fast enough to be dodging skill shots and running people down, because obviously you're melee. You know, you need to go fast, and having that Ghost is going to be, you know, extra important for Hecarim. And, you know, you already have your E to be able to, if somebody's there, you can still jump over walls. You have your ult to be able to ult over walls and stuff. So I know a lot of Hecarim mains do not think that, you know, Flash is super necessary. Not usually a champion that usually takes Flash. Obviously, you know, he's kiting these camps around and everything, doing some very basic jungling stuff, you know, pulling the camps as far as he can, and really taking advantage of just the strengths of Hecarim, which is his AoE clearing ability. You know, he has a very healthy clear, as long as you're, you know, not doing anything too stupid. As far as the Rune Page Doaenel is using in this one, this is like, he does a couple of different Rune Pages, you know, most one-tricks do, depending on the jungle matchup, depending on what champions are playing against on the other team and stuff like that. But majority of the time, Doaenel takes the page that he is taking in this game. We have to watch out here. You know, he's getting invaded by the Rek'Sai. Obviously, Rek'Sai isn't going to be a champion that usually is going to win 1v1s against Hecarim in the early game. But Nori, who's actually a former professional jungler, decided to get a little crazy right there. And Doaenel was able to smite the buff and get a nice health boost. The Rek'Sai had smite. I don't know what happened there, but if you're Hecarim, you're loving that. If you can do a full clear at the beginning and pick up a kill, and, you know, pick up a kill in the middle of doing your clear, that's going to be massive, because Hecarim does scale very well into the mid game, and, you know, this is supposed to be the time where Rek'Sai's strong, and Hecarim being ahead here is definitely a big step up for Doaenel. But as far as the Rune Page, this is the most common one that he does take. It's Phase Rush with Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and Water Walking. Again, all about movement speed. All 4 of these affect movement speed, which is going to be so good for him. And then he's going Domination Secondary with Eyeball Collector and Ingenious Hunter. He's then taking the cooldown reduction, or this says Ability Haste, but he's taking cooldown reduction, Ability Haste. No, he's taking Ability Haste, Adaptive Force, and Health as his, you know, 3rd set of runes. I don't know why I couldn't get that out, but, you know, we eventually got there. That's what his Rune Page looks like as far as abilities and everything. He is going Q, W, Q, a second point in Q at level 3, E at level 4, Q at 5, and then obviously Alt after that. He is maxing Q, maxing E, and finally maxing W, putting a point in Alt at 6, 11, and 16 every time he can. So now we can kind of jump into this game more. First back, he did pick up Blue Smite. You know, at the beginning of the game, he went with Blue Smite. He picked up a Tear and Lucidity Boots. I know he is a big fan of the Lucidity Boots on Hecarim. It's just going to help you get all those abilities up faster. You know, Q already has a really low cooldown. It's already pretty crazy. But if you can spam that Q a little bit more, if you can get that W up, you know, one extra time, it really could save you. And yeah, Hecarim with Q on even a lower cooldown is just going to be absolutely spamming his abilities. He's going to be so strong, you know, in these mid-game situations and scenarios where he's getting in these duels. Obviously, he's looking for a top lane play up here, coming in behind the Graves. He does get the Graves flash there, so far, you know, he's not doing anything too crazy. Did a full clear. Rek'Sai decided to int to him. He's going back to clearing. He then, you know, obviously decided to go for that invade that we saw straight into a top lane gank where Graves was just really far overextended now. Obviously, he does appear to be going for another top lane play here. Now that he knows that Graves doesn't have flash, Graves getting a little greedy there. I don't know if he felt like he needed to push in the wave or if he just thought Hecarim was gone, but he probably should have known that Hecarim was in the area. But I do think the wave was probably just in a bad spot for him and he felt like he needed to push it in. That's actually Bradley, I believe the new TL Academy top laner. So a lot of big name players, a lot of professional players in this solo queue game. That was not the cleanest there. He does miss out on the Krugs, and that's something he's always doing. He's always pulling those camps to the exact max range. You know, maybe every once in a while it's going to lead to a blunder like that where the camp does reset on you or something, but missing the 2 baby Krugs should not be that big of a deal at the end of the day. But you see like there how far he's pulling out the Raptors. Wait until he gets his Q back, Qing, all that stuff. Pretty basic stuff, but again, these are things you got to make sure are ingrained in your mind, ingrained in your gameplay, because these are things that high elo players, good players, consistent players, they take for granted. But I'm sure, you know, some of you are not doing this stuff in your games every time, or not doing this in your clears every single time. So, you know, you might meme him for having one camp reset on him at the very end or something, but just understand these are the things that good players do. This is what, you know, potentially sets them apart. So we will take a look. 7 minutes in, we are almost 20 CS up on the Rek'Sai, which is, you know, pretty impressive. We have the same KP, and we obviously have one less death. So this is all about, you know, just taking the extra camps we can, understanding the matchup, understanding that Hecarim is going to be stronger in the mid game than Rek'Sai, and knowing that Doaenel doesn't need to do anything crazy. You see the score is 4-3 here. His team's down a kill, but as long as the game's close, that's a good spot for Doaenel. He knows he's going to be stronger. Now, obviously, he goes for the bot lane gank here. That kill is just really free. I mean, if you're on the bot side of the map and you see people that low under tower, you know, you got to take those free kills when you can get them. But yeah, Hecarim's obviously a pretty simple champion overall. Nothing too crazy, you know, you're not needing like Lee Sin mechanics, you know, this isn't Riven, this isn't Yasuo. Hecarim doesn't have any skill shots. So what Doaenel is able to do in these games theoretically should be really repeatable. It's all about, you know, him making smart decisions, him understanding his champion, and making the correct plays. And again, all we've seen him do so far, take a couple free ganks top, take a very free and easy tower dive bottom, and just be in the right place at the right time when Rek'Sai decided to int him a kill. And again, that has him 1-0-3, up 23 CS, 8 minutes into the game, while Rek'Sai, you know, is 3-2-0 with less KP, less farm, and just in an absolute bad spot. And, you know, Doaenel's in a great spot at this point. He's a level up on the Rek'Sai. Things are looking good. His team is up, you know, 1,500 gold right now. He did just kind of chill out in the other team's jungle for a little while. He's deciding to go for this repeat gank bot. There was still a flash on Caitlyn, so that's a little bit unlucky. I'm sure he might have assumed that, you know, they didn't have sums after they were just 2v2 killed. But Wild Turtle picks up the double kill. So, you know, that's kind of been the worst play for Doaenel so far this game. And it still results in his AD carry picking up a double kill. That's a jinx, absolute scaling monster. You know, you're not too upset about that. Now, when you're ahead as a jungler or as any champion, you don't love dying. That definitely feels bad because while he's dying, that's an opportunity for Rek'Sai to be on the map, catching up in XP, catching up in farm, making a play. But at the end of the day, if you are going to die, getting your AD carry 2 kills in the bot lane, your scaling AD carry, your Wild Turtle AD carry 2 kills in the bot lane, you know, that's probably not so bad of a death. I'm sure, you know, a lot of us have much worse deaths in our game that don't have as good of outcomes or as, you know, as excusable as Doaenel dying there. We are now, you know, right about 10 minutes into the game. On that last back, he did end up picking up a Null Magic Mantle. He picked up the Balmy Cinder, and he picked up a Cloth Armor. Obviously, he has the Sweeping Lens now as well. This is another thing Hecarim's really, really good at, is doing multiple camps at once. You can pull the Gromp to the blue, you can pull the Raptors to the red buff, you know, doing those multiple camps at once, because Hecarim can do that very, very quickly with his AoE Q, with his AoE W. He can do it really healthily as well, obviously with the healing on his W. So making sure you're min-maxing that jungle clear, making sure you are doing all the little things, taking full advantage of your champion, because that's the only way to, you know, win games, especially as you get higher and higher, as you get to, you know, better levels. You really need to be getting the most out of your champion. But that stuff is even going to work in lower elos. If you're doing things a little bit better than other people that are similar skill level to you, you're going to win games more consistently. You're going to win games more often. We saw the Rek'Sai obviously shown in his jungle a little bit there, but the Rek'Sai should be scared of him. You know, he's really able to confidently take these duels like this in the mid lane right now, because he's strong enough to 2v1. He is strong enough to not have to worry about Rek'Sai counter ganking and stuff like that. And then, you know, his Pyke lands a nice hook. They pick up 2 kills for 0 there, and he's really starting to snowball this game out of control. So we saw his first clear, his second clear were pretty slow, pretty calculated, pretty methodical. That got him the early game lead, that set up what he's going to do in the mid game here, you know, from like the 10 to 20 minute mark, which is take his lead that he gained in the first 10 minutes from being fundamentally sound, intelligent jungler, and then use that to snowball all over the place. He's hammered bot lane, he's hammered mid lane, he keeps punishing Rek'Sai every chance he can. He knows he's ahead of Rek'Sai, and he's not letting his foot off the gas pedal. He is staying on the map, staying aggressive, but staying smart. Again, dying for him would be the worst thing in the world right now. Dying would be giving Rek'Sai an opportunity to come back. That would be giving Rek'Sai breathing room. But by punishing Rek'Sai every time he wants to show, every time he wants to, you know, go for a 2v2, he's just extending his lead further and further, not only for himself, but obviously for his team as well. And that's kind of, you know, that's what good players do, and that's what good players consistently do. So I'm not surprised at all to see that from Doaenel. On this next back, he did decide to pick up the Turbo Chem Tank, which is the build that he does go most often. So he is deciding to go with that first item, Turbo Chem Tank. Again, this is full movement speed Hecarim. This is Phase Rush, Celerity, Water Walking, Nimbus Cloak, Turbo Chem Tank, all of this stuff to just be an absolute speedy monster on Hecarim. But that is the item that he likes to go the most often. He does go a couple of different other items. You know, I've seen some stuff, but yeah, he's not a fan of Divine Sunderer. He's not a fan of Triforce, none of that. He is all about the Turbo Chem Tank, and yes, it is a tank item, but you just saw him one-shot the Katarina there as well, so you definitely still have plenty of damage, especially with the Lucidity Boots, letting you get your abilities off more and more. You're tankier, so you can get your abilities off more and more. When you're ahead, you're still going to be killing people. He is now up to 3-1-6 on the Hecarim. He is 40 CS up on the Rek'Sai, and this game's going really, really good. You know, they're up 5,000 gold 13 minutes into the game. That is just an absolutely massive lead, and most of it is on the off the back of Doaenel. Obviously, his team's doing very, very well, so this isn't necessarily a super hard game to jungle in, but he has had a positive impact on top lane, mid lane, and bot lane 13 minutes into the game. That's all you can ask of for a jungler. And if you're doing that consistently, if you're doing that every game, you're going to win a lot of games. You're going to have a high win rate, just like Doaenel does, obviously. Going for a play in the mid lane here, goes on to the Lux. He is going to be able, you know, to just pretty much one-shot her, even with this Chem Tank build. He doesn't have his E up there, so he's not able to get up over the wall to the Caitlyn, but still, his team picks up the kill, no harm done. I'm sure he would have loved to have the kill, but, you know, nothing he needed to go too crazy for. They had it on lock, and then he's just living in Rek'Sai's jungle at this point. He knows if he finds Rek'Sai, that's going to end poorly for Rek'Sai. So he is looking out for him. Finds him on the Krugs. We'll see if he's able to kill him here. Rek'Sai does have the ultimate, I believe, but it does not matter. He picks up the kill, and then he stumbles upon a Katarina as well. He is a whole level up, even on the enemy team Katarina, who is obviously their mid laner, and he picks up that kill as well. This has to be so tilting, so frustrating for the enemy team. Doaenel is now, what, 5-1-7, 14 minutes into the game. Rek'Sai cannot farm any camps at this point. If Rek'Sai walked into his jungle, Doaenel is going to be there, and he's going to be killing him. And again, this is what you have to do. You have to put that pressure on people. Again, intelligently, making sure your lanes are backing you up, making sure, your whole team isn't in base, making sure your team isn't doing Herald and you're in the bot side jungle. He's been making plays with his bot lane there, with Pyke there, all these things. He's not giving away shutdowns, he's not giving away his lead, he's not giving Rek'Sai a chance. But when the opportunity is there to get inside Rek'Sai's jungle and absolutely shut him down, he is taking full advantage every single time. And that's why Rek'Sai, an early game jungler, is 5 and 6. 6 deaths 15 minutes into the game. And again, this is a very, very good player in Rek'Sai. This is a former professional player. Game is 23-12. 6,000 gold lead 15 minutes in. That's a pretty good day at the office for a jungler. Can't really ask for a much bigger lead than that. Yes, his team has given away 12 kills. Yes, he did die one time. But, stuff like that's going to happen. And he's just mowing them down at this point. These kills are easy. Yeah, everything he did in the early game was the hard part. This is the fun part. This is the exciting part where you just get to pick apart the other team. And again, looking for Rek'Sai's camps, taking the Wolves, taking the Gromp. What's Rek'Sai going to do? He's going to have no camps. How's he even going to level up? How's he going to get XP? How's he going to get gold? His camps are going to be gone all the time. And yeah, maybe Rek'Sai could try and get his Wolves or try and get his Gromp, but if he does, he's going to die. But unfortunately, Rek'Sai gets a shutdown there, killing Jinx, which is really, really good. But then the other team does decide to disconnect. We do see right there at the end that Doaenel did build the Mira mana. So this is Ionian Boots of Lucidity into Chem Tank into Mira mana. He does go with a third item, Sterox, as well, if you are curious about the build. But obviously this was a 16-minute victory, so we didn't get to jump into that as much. But this is how Doaenel, one of the best Hecarims in the West, in North America, maybe even in the world, makes this champion work at the challenger level and how he wins games and carries games from start to finish. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Definitely drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate it so much. Leave a comment down below what you think about Doaenel or Hecarim in Season 12. Is this a champion you think is strong, fun, exciting, bad? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, save today, and all my latest content. Hope to catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace!